Hey guys, Jason Ferron from Keep It Reet, Melbourne, Australia, and I'm the pilot of the R31 Skyline station wagon powered by the 900 horsepower Ford Barra motor, aka the Barrawagz. Alright, so Keep It Reet is a brand that I started early days just as like a little private small thing just between friends to get a friend out on track. And very quickly everyone loved it and we turned those days into public days and it really took off. From there, COVID came down and that's where we came up with the idea of giveaways to get us through. So that sort of kept it ticking until now, running some huge scale events, just backing off the LZ World Tour. And yeah, Keep It Reet's a fairly well-known brand with like YouTube, merch, yeah, obviously the events, the giveaways, it's a whole big package now. So when I got into drift, I started with my first car, which was actually a VL Commodore, which you'll see behind the wagon. Yeah. But it wasn't the best chassis. I think I crashed one or two of them before I realized that I needed something that could steer properly. So the next probably cheapest car was either I think Cressidas and I think Skylines. Yeah, R31 Skylines were definitely up there unless you were going to like a Falcon or a Commodore. So the R31 Skyline is what I chose. And I started off with that non-turbo, did it for years, progressed to adding a turbo, other little things, and just kept on going until eventually I did like an LS swap on one. Then found that I wanted to go back to a turbo platform. So I went with a 1JZ wagon. Stopped for a few years, tried a few different chassis, but all in all, I had to come back to the one true love, which was the 31 wagon. And I think we've really proven that chassis now. And then of course, the point of, I think drifting is like a really good expression of yourself and, you know, be able to show something different, not just everyone having the same thing. So when I came back to the Skyline, I was like, yeah, nah, everyone can just, you know, from a distance, you can see the car, it really stands out. It's something different. It's really cool seeing something like this, you know, not only just drifting, but in like top level competition. So the Barra again, the reason I went Barra in this car, for one, I was more interested in seeing if it could be used like in a drifting application. A lot of people are using it for drag and street stuff, making big power. They call it like the Aussie 2J. So I wanted to prove that and give it a shot. You know, it made the power, power's what you need for the top level and to be reliable. It seemed like it would be reliable. So we just gave it a shot and it seems to work. It's done like 2 seasons now, the same block, no issues. So for me, getting into drifting is much like many other drifters, which is starting from an adrenaline-filled sport, whether it's like, you know, scooters, skateboard, rollerblades, something like that. For me, it was BMX and mountain bike. So I was heavily into dirt jumping. I was all about the backflips, 360s, tail whips. I was actually in a couple of magazines back in the day, Revolution Mag. And from there, as soon as I got my license, I didn't think about anything to do with like burnouts and drifting, but just naturally I was like, oh, how do I get that same rush with my friends? And naturally it progressed as soon as I jumped in a drift car. I was, yeah, that's it. I've got to get one of these. And it just kept on going. It just kind of took over the passion for the bikes and turned straight into cars. Some of my favorite memories in the car would have to be sending the car to New Zealand for D1NZ for its first international adventure. Right before that, we managed to get a second place in the first season of actually like refining and tuning the car. I think we missed the first round, but still managed to podium majority of them and come second overall in the Australian Championship of Haltech, which was really cool. And then of course, bringing the car back for World Time Attack and the LZ World Tour Australia. Yeah, it was definitely some pretty cool achievements in this car and somehow still in one piece. I think I just broke a skirt from getting wild with a burnout, but that was about it. Couple of fresh dints, but done quite well, this thing. I think the rear bumper was already half gone before the event. I was like, we'll just leave it like that. I know it'll just get worse. Absolutely stoked to have Haltech on board because first of all, as soon as we put all the products in this car, we have not had an issue since day dot. Some of my favorite features would have to be the logging, just for the fact of checking with little issues and stuff like that. It's so easy to find. And then lastly is that keypad and all the little features on that. So we've got launch control, off-throttle anti-lag on a button. We've got NOS if we install it. We've got a rev limiter button so we can just change it to, I think we've got it at 7,500 and we can go to 8,500 if we want to be like kill mode, ready to go. Get that Barra singing. And the last one is boost control. So we've got, I think we've got 4 to 5 settings. So you can click through from gate pressure up in increments of I think maybe like 2 to 4 PSI all the way to full boost, and then I can also change the gate spring to really refine it so I can have the exact power to whatever tyre that I'm running, which is exactly what you need. So this car we actually built ground up at our old factory, the Can Gang factory we call it, and the team, Jesse, Corey and TJ, absolutely smashed this car. Yeah, from the ground up, from sandblasting underneath to the painting. I think the only thing we got outsourced was the cage. So from the engine installation to the exhaust, installing all the accostal arms and suspension, absolutely everything was done in-house. And then of course, yeah, tuned elsewhere. But yeah, pretty proud of the team to be able to get this done to a level that's been so reliable. And I think that's definitely a testament to all the products in the car. So my advice to anyone that wants to get into drift and start the fun sport would be just keep it simple. Don't spend all your money straight away. Get something that you're comfortable in, that you can get seat time, that you're going to be happy to crash, happy to do some mods, learn the ins and outs. Then when you fully ride it off, that's when you can start spending some money on a real car once you've learned the skills and know the way. But I see it too many times, people going straight into the big builds and they end up never seeing the track again. Yeah, asking a lot, mate. Asking a lot. Here we have the power plant, the Ford Barra 4-litre straight 6. Now, this one has a forged bottom end, built by Nitto, with Kelford cams still retaining the VCT, and she pushes out 700 real kilowatt, which is pretty much 900 horsepower and 1300 newton meters at 3,500 RPM, and it revs all the way to 8,000 or 8,500 if I want on the button. All right, now we're moving to the hot side, starting with the Hypergear Turbo, pushing all that boost. It pushes 28 PSI all day, every day, the ball bearing core and a pretty small rear housing, so you keep that response up, which is what you want for drifting. The external wastegate, we've got a 60mm Turbo Smart, then running through the pipes through to a PWR 88mm special V8 supercar core. Spicy on that one, keeps zero pressure drop, not zero, but very low pressure drop, and the best air intake temps. Then moving to the intake manifold, we've got the Plasma Man, and all of it's held together with the Raceworks clamps. All right, moving on to the fuel system. Of course, this thing's running on E85. Thanks to Raceworks, they've supplied us with the 1650 injectors. Now, feeding it all is the Radium fuel cell running a twin Walbro 525 pumps. And to finish it off with a few extras, we've got the Ross balancer. We're running a drive-by-wire throttle that helps us with our off-throttle anti-lag, and the R35 coil packs. Interior. So, one thing that I really like about a drift car is when it's got full interior, or at least somewhat complete. And yes, it's supposed to be a nice lightweight comp car, but there's something about the aesthetic of sitting inside a fully trimmed car. So we've still got the factory dash, factory door cards. Some of the stuff I had to source new, like all the black components, but we went with a black theme and Nardo grey interior. And I've actually got it fully suede covered, which really gives a nice little touch to everything on the interior. And finishing it off with, of course, my favorite, the Nardi Classic on the quick release. Now moving on to electronics. Now this car has been fully rewired by Jassy himself, and it's running the Haltech Nexus R5, powering everything, including the tail lights, headlights, absolutely anything that includes a wire. It's running, and that's with no relays whatsoever. And we've also got it powering the IC7 dash with all the essentials, and we've got the keypad button with the 15 buttons with all my favorite little buttons I can play with while drifting right there up front. All right, now coming from the driveline, we've got the GeForce 101A 4-speed dog box, which takes all the abuse. The straight cut gear, dog gear, has done me really well. Nice and reliable, easy setup to replace gears, and it handles all the power. Behind that, we've got an MPC twin plate, solid clutch, and moving all the way through, we're running a Ford XR6 Turbo rear end with full spool, billet axles, and that's pretty much it. Quite straightforward. Moving on to the safety side of the car. Of course, we've got the 6-point cage FIA spec built by Grubby at 21 Fab. We've got the battery isolators running to the Optimate dry cell battery. That right there, that tank is a water squirter to keep the engine nice and cool. But that's pretty much it for back here. Moving to wheels, tyres, suspension and brakes. All round on the car we run the Kansai tandems, 18" by 10.5, the big boys. Up front we run a 235 semi-slick tyre. On the back run a 265 semi-slick. Then moving to the brakes, we actually run Z33. R32 GTR is probably the closest size comparison up front. And we run the Ford XR6 Turbo rear, which is a pretty decent size braking caliper. Suspension, we run nothing but the best, the Shockwork suspension in all our cars, and the Acostal steering. So we've got the chromoly arms. It's all S14 stuff from the suspension to the knuckle, and it's all adjustable Ackerman. So with one bolt, you can literally change how much steering, how much the front and back wheel actually has against each other, which creates like drag, or depending on tires, it's really, really good for drifting and adjusting for wet and all that. And he's actually done a full CNC K-frame. So it's also got adjustment for the steering rack location, forward, back, up, down, and it all ties in together, and it's super strong and nice and easy to replace any parts if you need be. Now back here on the rear end, I've already spoken a little bit about the diff and brake setup, but more in detail, if you didn't know, this car's actually live axle, and we've kept that, retained all the standard pickup points with the standard 4-link, and just upgraded the size of everything really. So still live axle, just with the full spool center, so just fully locked, and billet axles. I think they're 30 spline. For the brakes, we've actually got a dual caliper rear brake. Now it's actually quite interesting for this car. So up is an independent hydraulic handbrake for the rear handbrake, and you can actually go down for the front brake. So technically it's like left foot braking, all hooked up to the lights and the brake lights on the top of the car and everything, which is really handy for drifting. And that's another thing that Acostal's put together. So future goals for the car is to send it to the US. I'm off to US in a week's time from now. I'm probably already there now when this video comes out, but sending the Wagon and a couple of other cars to have some fun in the States. No real like set goals and plans for it, more just to make some noise with this thing and enter as many competitions as I can, whether it's local, the big comps, or just the fun events like a drift week, and really get the car out there. Yeah.